By age 75, 1 in 3 Americans will lose significant vision.
And most of them are eating the 3 foods we're about to expose.
The worst part? They think these foods are healthy.
In Japan, we avoid them completely.
Today, we're revealing what's stealing your sight.
And the 3 foods that can restore it.
One of them reversed my own father's early symptoms. All right, here's something that terrifies me as an ophthalmologist.
What is it?
Every single day, I see patients in their 60s and 70s who come in panicking about their vision getting worse.
Blurry text? Trouble driving at night?
Exactly. And you know what the first thing they ask me is?
Tell me.
Is this just aging? Is there anything I can do?
And what do you tell them?
I tell them aging is inevitable. But vision loss? That's often a choice we're making 3 times a day.
At every meal.
Right. Because here's what most people don't know. Your eyes are not just wearing out like old tires.
They're being damaged by inflammation, oxidative stress, and nutrient depletion.
And all 3 of those are controlled by what you eat.
Which is why today we're doing something different.
We're not going to talk about supplements or vitamins.
We're talking about real food. 3 foods that are silently destroying your vision after 60.
And 3 foods that can actually reverse early damage.
Now, before we dive in, let me be clear.
We're not saying food cures blindness.
If you have advanced macular degeneration or glaucoma, you need medical treatment.
But for most people watching this, if you're noticing your vision getting a bit worse, colors fading, night driving getting harder,
these changes can slow that down. Sometimes even reverse early symptoms.
And I know you're going to say Japan has half the rate of vision loss we do in America.
Because we do.
All right, let's start with the bad news first.
The 3 foods Americans eat constantly that are destroying their eyes.
And trust me, number 3 is in almost every kitchen in America.
Including yours, probably.
So if you're over 60, or you care about someone who is, stay with us for the next 20 minutes.
Because what we're about to share could literally save your sight.
Let's begin. Dangerous food number 1, processed meats.
Bacon, sausages, deli meats, hot dogs.
I had a patient, 68-year-old retired teacher named Margaret. She came in complaining her vision was getting hazier, especially when reading.
Early macular degeneration?
Exactly. And when I asked about her diet, she said, "I eat pretty healthy. Bacon and eggs for breakfast, turkey sandwich for lunch."
She thought she was being healthy.
That's the problem. Processed meats are loaded with saturated fats and nitrates, both of which trigger massive inflammation in the retina.
In Japan, we eat very little processed meat. Fresh fish, maybe some grilled chicken.
And that's why your rates of AMD are half of ours.
But, Eric, what about turkey? People think turkey is the healthier option.
If it's processed deli turkey, it's still a problem. The nitrates and sodium are what damage the delicate blood vessels in your macula.
So it's not just about fat. It's about inflammation.
Exactly. Your macula, the central part of your retina responsible for sharp vision, has the highest metabolic rate in your entire body.
Which means it's extremely sensitive to oxidative stress.
Right. And processed meats create a flood of free radicals that literally rust your retina from the inside.
Like leaving iron out in the rain.
Perfect analogy. Now, back to Margaret. I told her, cut out the bacon and deli meats completely.
What did she replace them with?
Eggs with avocado for breakfast, grilled salmon or chicken breast for lunch.
And what happened?
6 months later, her vision stabilized. The haziness didn't get worse, and she said colors looked brighter again.
That's remarkable for just removing 1 food.
It is. But here's the thing. She didn't just stop eating processed meat. She replaced it with anti-inflammatory proteins.
Which we'll talk about later when we get to the 3 foods that restore vision.
Right. So if you're over 60 and eating bacon, sausage, or deli meat more than once a week, you're accelerating retinal damage.
All right, what's dangerous food number 2?
This one surprises people. Refined carbohydrates. White bread, pastries, sugary cereals, white rice.
The blood sugar spike foods.
Exactly. And here's why this matters for your eyes. When you eat refined carbs, your blood sugar shoots up rapidly.
And high blood sugar is toxic to the tiny blood vessels in the retina.
Right. It creates something called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These literally glue proteins together in your eye.
In Japan, we have a saying, "Too much sweetness makes the eyes go dark."
That's not just folklore. That's biochemistry. I had a patient, 71-year-old man with type 2 diabetes,
Diabetic retinopathy?
early stages. But what shocked me was his morning routine. 2 blueberry muffins and orange juice.
That's like drinking pure sugar.
Around 80 grams of sugar and refined flour first thing in the morning. His blood sugar would spike to 220.
And every spike damages the retina a little more.
Exactly. Those muffins were accelerating his vision loss faster than his diabetes itself.
What did you tell him to do?
Switch to steel-cut oatmeal with berries and walnuts. His morning blood sugar dropped to 110.
And his vision?
After 4 months, the bleeding in his retina stopped progressing. We caught it just in time.
This is what frustrates me about Western diets. Breakfast is often the most damaging meal.
You're right. Pancakes, waffles, bagels, donuts, all of them spike blood sugar and create AGEs.
In Japan, traditional breakfast is miso soup, grilled fish, rice, and pickled vegetables.
Lower glycemic index, higher protein, much better for eye health.
But people say they don't have time to cook fish in the morning.
You don't need fish. Even scrambled eggs with whole grain toast is infinitely better than a muffin.
The key is avoiding the blood sugar spike.
Right, because every time your blood sugar spikes above 180, you're creating more AGEs that cloud your lens and damage your retina.
And this happens 3 times a day if you're eating the standard American diet.
Exactly. Which brings us to dangerous food number 3. And Makoto, you called this one months ago.
Vegetable oils.
Vegetable, corn, soybean, canola oil. The oils that are in almost every processed food in America.
And most people think they're healthy because they say vegetable.
That's the tragedy. These oils are incredibly high in omega-6 fatty acids, which are pro-inflammatory.
And inflammation is the root cause of almost all age-related eye disease.
Right. Now, we need some omega-6, but the ideal ratio is about 4:1, omega-6 to omega-3.
And what's the average American ratio?
Around 20:1. Some people are as high as 50:1.
It's like pouring gasoline on a fire.
Exactly. I had a patient, 70-year-old woman, complaining of chronic dry eyes and light sensitivity.
Classic signs of inflammation.
Right. When I asked what she cooked with, she said vegetable oil. She'd been using it for 40 years because her doctor told her it was heart healthy.
That advice has aged very poorly.
It has. We now know these oils oxidize easily, especially when heated, creating toxic compounds that damage the retina.
In Japan, we use sesame oil or rice bran oil in very small amounts.
Much better options. I told her to switch to extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil.
What happened?
Within 8 weeks, her dry eyes improved significantly. She said it felt like someone turned the lights back on.
Just from changing the oil she cooked with.
Just from that. But here's the bigger problem. Vegetable oils are hidden everywhere.
Salad dressings, mayonnaise, chips, crackers, restaurant food.
Right. Most restaurant food is cooked in soybean or corn oil because it's cheap.
So even when people think they're eating healthy, the cooking oil is sabotaging them.
Exactly. If you're over 60 and eating out more than twice a week, you're getting a huge dose of pro-inflammatory omega-6.
What should people do?
Cook at home more. Use olive oil or avocado oil, and read labels obsessively.
If you see soybean oil or canola oil in the first 3 ingredients, put it back.
All right, so we've covered the 3 dangerous foods: processed meats, refined carbs, and vegetable oils.
All 3 create inflammation and oxidative stress in the retina.
Right. And if you're eating all 3 regularly, you're basically guaranteeing accelerated vision loss.
But here's the good news.
We're about to tell you the 3 foods that can reverse this damage.
And these aren't exotic superfoods. They're simple, affordable, available at any grocery store.
First one is dark leafy greens. Spinach, kale, collard greens, Swiss chard.
In Japan, we eat greens with almost every meal.
And here's why they're critical for eye health. They contain two carotenoids called lutein and zeaxanthin.
These are the only carotenoids that concentrate in the macula.
Right. They act like internal sunglasses, filtering out harmful blue light and neutralizing free radicals.
Think of them as armor for your retina.
Exactly. I had a patient, 69-year-old woman, early cataracts starting to cloud her vision.
Was she scheduled for surgery?
Not yet, but we were monitoring her closely. I asked about her diet. Almost no vegetables.
What did you tell her?
Eat 1 cup of cooked kale or spinach every single day, either sautéed with garlic or blended into a smoothie.
Did she do it?
She did. And 8 months later, her cataracts hadn't progressed at all. In fact, she said her night vision actually improved.
That's the power of lutein and zeaxanthin.
Right. And here's the key. You need fat to absorb them. They're fat-soluble nutrients.
So cook your greens with olive oil, or eat them with avocado.
Exactly. A spinach salad with olive oil dressing is perfect.
How much do people need daily?
Studies show about 10 milligrams of lutein and 2 milligrams of zeaxanthin. That's roughly 1 cup of cooked kale or 2 cups of raw spinach.
All right, what's the second food that restores vision?
Fatty fish. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, anchovies.
Now we're talking. In Japan, elderly people eat fish 3 to 4 times a week.
And your rates of dry eye and macular degeneration are dramatically lower than ours.
Because omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA, make up 60% of the retina.
Right. DHA is literally the building block of your photoreceptor cells.
Without enough DHA, those cells become stiff and dysfunctional.
Exactly. I had a patient, 66-year-old man, complaining of severe dry eyes. He said it felt like sandpaper every time he blinked.
How often was he eating fish?
Maybe once a month. He said he didn't like the taste.
What did you recommend?
I told him to try canned sardines or wild-caught salmon 3 times a week.
Canned sardines are one of the best sources of omega-3.
And they're cheap. He started eating them on whole-grain crackers with mustard.
What happened to his dry eyes?
6 weeks later, they were 80% better. He said he couldn't believe something so simple worked.
That's because omega-3 reduces inflammation in the tear glands.
Exactly. And it also protects against AMD progression. There's a study from Harvard that followed 4,000 women over 10 years.
What did they find?
Women who ate fish twice a week had a 40% lower risk of developing advanced macular degeneration.
That's a huge reduction.
It is. But here's the key. It has to be fatty fish. Tilapia or shrimp don't count.
Because they don't have significant omega-3.
Right. You need salmon, mackerel, sardines, herring, or anchovies.
What about fish oil supplements?
They can help, but I always prefer food first. Whole fish gives you not just omega-3, but also vitamin D, selenium, and protein.
And the omega-3 in fish is in its natural triglyceride form, which is better absorbed.
Exactly. If you absolutely hate fish, take a high-quality fish oil supplement, but aim for at least 1,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA daily.
All right, what's the third food that restores vision?
Colorful vegetables and fruits. Specifically, anything orange, red, or deep purple.
Carrots, sweet potatoes, bell peppers, blueberries.
Exactly. These contain carotenoids like beta-carotene and anthocyanins, which are powerful antioxidants.
In Japan, we say eat the rainbow. The more colors on your plate, the better.
That's actually brilliant advice. Each color represents different phytonutrients that protect different parts of your eye.
Beta-carotene from carrots converts to vitamin A, which is essential for night vision.
Right. And anthocyanins from blueberries strengthen the capillaries in your retina.
I had a teacher in Japan who ate a handful of blueberries every morning. She's 80 now and still reads without glasses.
That doesn't surprise me. There's a study from Italy where they gave elderly patients with early cataracts a blueberry supplement for 3 months.
What happened?
98% of them had no progression of their cataracts. Some even showed slight improvement in clarity.
That's remarkable.
It is. Now, I'm not saying blueberries cure cataracts, but they clearly slow the oxidative damage.
How much should people eat?
Half a cup of blueberries daily, or a mix of colorful produce. 1 orange bell pepper, 1 sweet potato, a cup of berries.
And these can be cooked or raw.
Both. Cooking actually increases the bioavailability of some carotenoids like lycopene in tomatoes.
So roasted red peppers or baked sweet potato are excellent choices.
Exactly. And here's my personal story. My father is 82, and 5 years ago he started noticing his night vision was declining.
What did you tell him?
I said, "Dad, start eating carrots and sweet potato every day." He thought I was joking.
But he did it?
He did. And within 3 months, he said driving at night was easier. His pupils were dilating better, and he could see road signs sooner.
That's the power of vitamin A and beta-carotene.
Right. And he's kept it up for 5 years now. His vision has stayed stable.
No surgery, no medications, just food.
Just food. And that's what I want people to understand. You have more control over your vision than you think.
It's not just genetics or bad luck.
No. For most people, vision loss after 60 is driven by inflammation, oxidative stress, and nutrient deficiency.
All of which are controlled by what you eat.
Exactly. So let's summarize. 3 foods to avoid: processed meats, refined carbs, vegetable oils.
All 3 create inflammation and damage the retina.
And 3 foods to eat daily: dark leafy greens for lutein and zeaxanthin,
Fatty fish for omega-3 and DHA.
and colorful vegetables and fruits for antioxidants and carotenoids.
If you do these 3 things consistently, you'll see results within weeks.
Now, I know some of you are thinking, this sounds like a lot of work.
But it doesn't have to be complicated.
Here's a simple weekly plan. Breakfast: scrambled eggs with spinach and avocado.
Lunch: grilled salmon or canned sardines with a big salad.
Dinner: baked chicken or fish with roasted sweet potato and steamed kale.
Snacks: a handful of blueberries or carrot sticks with hummus.
That's it. You've hit all 3 protective foods without thinking too hard.
And you've eliminated the 3 damaging ones.
Right. Now, one more thing before we wrap up. Always consult with your doctor before making major dietary changes, especially if you have existing eye disease.
Food is powerful medicine, but it works best alongside professional care.
Exactly. We're not saying skip your eye exams or ignore your ophthalmologist.
We're saying give your eyes the nutritional support they need to function at their best.
All right, we want to hear from you. Which food are you going to start with?
Dark leafy greens, fatty fish, or colorful vegetables? Drop a comment and let us know.
And if you found this helpful, share it with someone over 60 who's worried about their vision.
Because this information could literally save someone's sight. Until next time, take care of your eyes.